So nice to see you guys. Please get started on the do now. You need your calculator to answer these questions. This is what we were practicing the last time. Who have I not said hello to? And Angela, David. Hello, David. Hello, Sihle. I hope I've greeted everybody. Okay, yeah, so as normal, just get started on the do now, please. We'll just wait for everybody to arrive and then we can get, thanks for all those lovely hearts. Sihle, that's awesome. I'm good, thanks, David. And how are you? Hi, Sam. Thanks for the message. Hi, Phoebe. Oh, good, you've joined us. Nice to have you here with us again. Kelebochile and Harrison and Nolwazi and Marumo, thank you for joining us. And Jared, yay, everybody's here. Hopefully I said hello to everybody. If I left you off, then just tell me. Hopefully I didn't. Okay, so you're going to need your calculator to answer these questions, grade 10s. We're going to evaluate all of those trig expressions to 2 decimal places, please. Hi, Entlefatso. Hi, Katlego.
Sorry, hi, ma'am.
Hello, Sam, what's up?
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask, ma'am.
Hmm.
Do I type in 10 and then with the open brackets, do I type in 65 degrees and close brackets?
Perfect, Sam, 100%. That's exactly what you need to do. Okay, so the minute you press the tan button on your calculator, it opens the bracket to allow you to put in the angle. All right, and then it's good practice to remember to close the bracket afterwards. If you open a bracket, close it. Perfect. Well done. That's
Thank you,
it.
ma'am.
No problem. Well done. And maybe when you've managed to do all of them, or even if you get stuck, it doesn't matter. You can unmute and talk to me. But maybe if you've managed to do all 6, and you can just pop a thumbs up or something like that into the chat, and then at least I know you're done. Okay, grade 10s. Cool beans, Harrison. And David, well done. Good job. We're going to go through these answers now. Well done, Sihle. All right, grade 10s. Even if you didn't manage to finish, it's not the end of the world. The ones on the right-hand side were a little bit more difficult than the ones on the left-hand side. And maybe not everybody can remember what to do with the reciprocal functions. Okay, as far as the ones on the left-hand side are concerned, I'm going to go with Intlefatso. Can you tell me what you got for the tan of 65?
I got 2,14, ma'am.
2,14. Good. Well done. All right. I got the same answer. Excellent. Well done. All right. Then I'm going to ask Sihle. Can you please give us what you got for the sine of 38?
Ma'am?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Sam?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Ma'am, my answer was 1,63.
Okay, now, Sam, what you've got to be super careful of is what setting your calculator is on at the moment. If you have a look at the screen, you will see at the top, there is like a very faint line, and that's where, like, if you use the memory, an M comes up. When you turn your calculator on, it should say math, and then it should have a D. What does yours have?
Wait. Ma'am, please repeat that again. Sorry.
Okay, so if you look at your screen, at the very, very top in the screen, there should be some words at the top of your screen.
Oh,
it should have a D.
Oh, it has math.
Okay, and then what other letters does it have?
M and G.
Ah, okay. So now the reason why you are getting different answers is because of that G.
So, ma'am, how do I change the setting?
Okay, do you have a Casio?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to press this. You're going to press Shift.
Yes.
9.
Yes.
So Shift 9.
Yes, ma'am.
3.
Yes, ma'am.
Equals, and then AC.
Wait, AC.
Yes.
Oh. Thank you, ma'am.
It's a pleasure. Okay, and now if you look at it, it should have a D together with math. Don't worry about the M. The M is fine. Does it have a D now?
Yes, it
there
does.
We go. Okay, so what you've got to make sure, grade 10s, I'm actually really glad this happened, Sam. This is a fantastic thing. You've got to make sure that your calculator says D at the top and that you're working on degrees. Okay, otherwise we do get different answers. So if it says G or it says R, you need to do what I've just done with Sam now, okay, which resets the calculator into the correct operating mode, for want of a better expression. Okay. All right, so Sam will come back to you and we'll give you an opportunity to do one of these. Who was I talking to? Sihle, that's right. Oh, Sihle, you've already typed your answer. Okay, I got 0,62 as well. Perfect. Okay. Silenhlanhla, what did you get for cos 74? (0.28). Even me. Okay, well done, Silenhlanhla. That's perfect. Okay, so now let's do the more difficult ones. All right. So, Katlejo, let's ask you, what did you get for sec 48? Yes, you can talk, Nusisa.
Why are you open? Don't. Can I please ask, should I always round it off when there's a number that is bigger than 5?
Yes, you should. So you should normally always round to 2 decimal places. Okay, unless of course you're writing a class test or something else like that, where they specify, but the usual thing nationally is for us to round off to 2 decimal places. So what you're doing is that you're looking at the 3rd decimal place. Okay, even when you round it to 2 decimal places, you're looking at the 3rd decimal place. And if the number sitting in the third column is 5 and above, then it pushes the number in the second column up by 1. If the number sitting in the third column is 4 or below, then the number in the second column stays the same.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem, Nosisa. All right, so Katlejo said you got 0.45. Okay, I got 1.49, Katlejo. All right, can you tell me how you worked out your 0.45? What did you do? Good question, Phoebe. How do we get these ones on the right-hand side? Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember, and if you don't, it's no big deal, all right? We spoke about these ones last time, okay? But it's important that you're able to do these because they will sometimes come up, okay? So let me just grab my pen, okay? Do you remember last week we spoke about reciprocal ratios? I calculated the same way you calculate the tan. Is it wrong? How do we calculate? No problem, Katlejo. I'm going to explain it to you now. All right. So the ones on the right-hand side are reciprocal ratios. Okay, so if we look at our calculators, grade 10s, we don't see the words sec and cot and cosec. Our calculators have only got sine and cos and tan. Okay, so sine theta, its reciprocal ratio is cosec theta. When it comes to cos theta, its reciprocal ratio is sec theta. And when it comes to tan theta, its reciprocal ratio is cot theta. Now, this is something, unfortunately, grade 10s, we just have to learn. Okay, so when we cot is cot 1,60, I'll have a look now, Nizol. Yes, that's what I got. Okay, 1,60. All right, so if you want to, Nizola, do you want to tell us how you got that answer? Because that's perfectly correct. Maybe Nizol didn't. Oh, there we go. 1/tan32. Perfect. Okay, so everybody, if you don't understand what Nizol's saying there, she's 100% correct. If I now want to do, we'll talk about the cot now, but if I want to do sec 48, I've got to do like Nizol says, 1/. Okay, so remember you're switching it around. Okay, Phoebe, oh, good. Okay, so it's 1/, and then the reciprocal ratio of sec is cos. So you've got to go cos 48 like that. But you've got to be super careful here, grade 10s, because your calculator is very fussy. If you don't close the bracket, okay, it'll come up with a math error. And imagine how panicked you'll feel in a maths test if that happens. Okay, so if you are using the fraction button and you're putting things like cos 48 or tan 32 or whatever the case is at the bottom, you've got to remember to close the bracket. Okay, so Sihle says 1,56. We'll go and have a look at that now. Okay, so this one was 1/tan 32. And Sihle, let's see what I got. 1,56. Good. Well done, Sihle, 100%. Okay, and then this one would have been calculated by saying 1/sine theta, okay, or 1/sine 140 in this case. Whoopsie, I've left off the 1. 140. Okay. Is everybody happy with that? Thumbs ups, thumbs downs. How are you feeling? Cool, Phoebe. All right, Zayan. Cool, David. Good, Sihle. Good, Senentlantla. Okay, Zion, you happy? Anam's happy. All right. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk about using trig ratios to solve the lengths of sides in right-angled triangles. Okay. Those of you that are or have done trig at school, I know some of you are only just starting. Have you done this section yet? Have you used trigonometry to work out the lengths of the sides of triangles? If you have, then you can just, have you?
Yes, ma'am, we have. We actually did it last time.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've done that. Okay.
But I think I forgot.
You think you forgot? Okay. Well, that's fine. Then that's perfect. That's why you're here. Okay. Okay. Harrison says yes. David says I did. I never understood. That's fine. Okay. Hi, Nana. Okay. No problem. All right. So here we go. I've chosen this example and I'm going to show you how we would do it with triangle PRS. So it says to us here on the left-hand side, triangle sorry, the Q is incorrect. So triangle PRS is right angled at R. Yes, that's quite Seatled, 100%. And PR is equal to 30. Now, that's not on the diagram. So, oh, no, sorry. PR is equal to 30. They mean RS is equal to 30. Sorry, there's another mistake over there. Sorry, guys. RS is equal to 30. That's on the diagram. Okay, and angle S is equal to 20. Use trigonometry to calculate the length of PS, correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, so this is where our SOHCAHTOA is so important, all right? We know that in relation, because remember, sine, cos, and tan only exist in relation to an angle, okay? So side PR is opposite because it's opposite the angle that we're talking about, which is the 20 degrees. Okay, so PR is opposite. All right, this side RS is going to be called, can anybody tell me?
Adjacent.
Adjacent, quite right, adjacent. I'll look right now, Katlego, just one seckie. How do you put? No, Katlego, you would have to round off using your calculator. So I'm going to show you now what it is that you would do in a calculation like this. Okay. Quite right. And this is the hypotenuse. What a strange word, hypotenuse. I wonder who thought that one up. Anyway, there we go. All right. So now they want us to calculate the length of PS. PS is the hypotenuse. Okay. So now we look at the triangle and we say to ourselves, what information have we been given? Do we know the length of the opposite side? No, we don't. Do we know the length of the adjacent side? Yes, we do. What do we want to calculate? The hypotenuse. So we have to pick the appropriate trig ratio to help us with our calculation, right? So if I am working with an adjacent side and a hypotenuse, which trig ratio do I have to use? Can anybody tell me? Unfortunately, not tan in this case, Harrison.
Cosine.
It's right. Cos is correct. That's it. Okay, Nasisa, Anam, Sihle, Nana, that's perfect. Okay, so I can't, if I wanted to work with tan, then I would need to be calculating an opposite or an adjacent side. Exactly. CAH is quite right. SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so this is the CAH bit that we are going to be working with here. And we could work with any one of the three. But in this particular example, if we want to calculate the hypotenuse, we have to use cos. So this is what we do, grade 10s. We write this. The cos of 20 degrees is equal to adjacent, which in this case is 30, over the hypotenuse, which in this case is called PS.
Sorry,
Does that
ma'am.
make sense to everybody? Yes.
Ma'am, Why do we put 20?
Because that is our reference angle, Sam. That's the angle that we are working with regard to. So in other words, what we are doing is that we are using an angle and a side to calculate another side.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Okay, so in this case, 20 is our reference angle. It doesn't need to be, Sam. We could, if we wanted to, we could actually work with angle P over here if we wanted, but that's not the angle that they gave us. All right, we could use angles of a triangle to work out how big P is, and we could work with P, but they have specifically told us here that we want to work with a 20. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So I've just written here, all I've written on the left-hand side is the cos of an angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, this is a particularly, well, slightly more difficult question because what I want to try and work out is in the denominator. So first of all, I have to get it out of the denominator. So remember, in maths, if I have a value, it means that it's been written over 1. What method can I use to get PS out of the denominator? What's that called? Can anyone remember?
Cross multiplication.
That's it, Nasisa. Quite right. Yes, Seethek. I'm going to cross multiply. Okay, so I'm going to multiply PS with cos 20. That will give me PS cos 20. And I'm going to multiply 1 with 30, and that's going to give me 30. And now I want to isolate PS. I want PS on its own. So what must I do to both sides of my equation?
Divide by cos 20.
Perfect, Marumo. That's 100%. Okay, so PS is going to be equal to 30 over cos 20. Okay, and now you can pick up your calculators. So we always write first. Okay, write first, and then we pick up our calculators. Remember, when you put the cos 20 at the bottom, remember to close the bracket. Okay, so 30 over cos 20. What do you guys get as an answer? I agree. Yes, Seon, that's what I'm getting as well.
Ma'am,
Yes.
do you put in 2 decimal places? Or
2
1?
decimal places is the most usual. Yes. So can you see, if anybody's got their calculator in front of them at the moment, can you see in the 3rd decimal place there's a 5? And that's why that 5 is pushing the 2 up to 3. Okay. Yes, Nana. Yes, Anam. Perfect. Okay. 100%. Okay. So equals 31,93 units, I guess. Okay, so we've used trigonometry to calculate the length of a side.
Is it a must to put a units, ma'am?
It's not, but the reason that I'm doing it is because I think it's so important in grade 10 for us as teachers to emphasize the difference between calculating a side and calculating an angle. Okay, but you're not going to get marked down if you don't do that.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, now we want to calculate how you did the sum in pink. Okay, Katlego, I'm going to explain another one, all right, and then let me do that, and I can always go back to this one, and then I can give some of the others another one to try, and I can help you with this question. Okay, so just hold tight, Katlego. I won't forget about you, I promise. And just listen again here, because we're going to do the same thing, all right? We're going to use trigonometry to calculate the length of PR. Now, let's pretend that we didn't know that the hypotenuse was 31.93. Let's pretend we didn't know that at all, okay? Based on the information that we've been given. So angle S is 20 and side RS is 30. How could we calculate the length of PR? Which trig ratio would we have to use?
Tan.
Exactly. Okay. So, Katlego, does that make sense to you? Marumo said we've got to use tan. Do you understand why she said we've got to use tan? Okay. So, Katlego, it goes back to, where am I going to write this? Oh, so, ka, toa. Okay, so we use the sign ratio if we want to calculate opposite and we've got hypotenuse, or if we want to calculate hypotenuse and we've got opposite. We use the cos ratio if we want to calculate adjacent if they gave us hypotenuse, or if they gave us hypotenuse and we wanted to calculate adjacent. We have to use the tan ratio if we want to calculate opposite if we've been given adjacent, or adjacent if we have been given opposite. So what Marumo did is she looked at the triangle. She said line PR is opposite 20, but I have the adjacent side. So if I'm working to calculate the opposite side and I have the adjacent one, then I have to use the tan of the angle. Does that make a little bit more sense, Katlego? No, I'm sorry. Okay, let's try a couple more. All right. So the tan of 20 is going to be opposite PR over adjacent, which is 30. Okay, and now I need to follow the same process for the other one where I need to end up cross multiplying. But this is a little bit easier. Are you sure, Katlego? Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply. This is a little bit easier because what I'm solving for, the unknown is in the numerator. So that means that PR is going to be equal to 30 times the tan of 20. Okay, and then we would pop that into our calculators and round to 2 decimal places. What do you get, grade 10s?
$10.92.
100% Harrison, that's what I get as well. Yes, Sihle, quite right. So 10.92. And I'm just always in the habit of putting in units. Okay, that's how long that side is. Yes, Sam. Good. Well done, Nasisa, yes. Okay, now, Katlego, if you're still feeling nervous about these, don't worry, I'll assist you, okay? But everybody else, I would like you guys to try these questions over here. All right, so I've given you one where you're going to calculate the length of AC and BC, and then there's this triangle over here. Let me just move this onto the screen a little bit better for you. So again, we're going to use trigonometry in order to calculate the lengths of the sides that are missing. No stress, Katlego. Okay, so everybody else, can I assume that there are people that feel, yes, Sihle. Do you want to ask a question, Sihle? Sihle, when you say you change the triangle, what exactly do you mean by changing the triangle?
Maybe Mammy means like switching it around and the values becoming more like a normal triangle.
Okay, so unfortunately, yes, that would be wrong. You have to work with exactly what it is that they've given you. All right, so whatever they had presented to you, that's what you would need to work with. Okay, Tutuka, okay, Sihle, you can't go and change the questions. All right, you must answer them exactly as they've been given to you. Okay, I hope that answers your question. All right, so how are you feeling? I mean, I know Katlejo is not feeling confident. How's everybody else feeling? Do you feel that you'd be able to calculate AC and BC and Y, X, and ZY? Can I have a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Kinda, okay. All right. Good. Thank you, Harrison, Jared, Phoebe, Sam. Okay, Senatlanla. Okay, so you guys, Riabetswe, no, it's fine. Sepo, Riabetswe, Katlejo, you see, you're not alone. Okay, the other people are struggling as well. And I'm going to talk to you now. The others, you carry on, ignore what I'm saying. Just carry on and do your work, and we'll talk about the answers now. That's fine, David. That's all you can do. Because in order for me to write the answer, I change the triangle, but still put the numbers where they're supposed to be. See, Claire, I'd have to see what it is that you're writing to understand exactly what you're getting at. Okay, all right, so that's fine. Okay, so confident people, you carry on. Ignore the sound of my voice. I'm going to be talking about these triangles over here. And you carry on with those, and everybody who feels sad or lost or confused, you listen to me. Okay, so this does get difficult, and the reason that this is difficult is because you need to make a decision. You've got to make a choice. All right, so every time that you answer one of these questions, you are saying to yourself, which trig ratio am I using? Am I using Sihle, I wonder if, I don't know, maybe Tula, maybe you could send a picture of your work to Tula or somehow, and then I can at least see it, and then at least I'll be able to answer your question. We must ask Tula. I don't know if Tula, if that's possible. Yeah, let's just see what Tula has to say. Okay, so you are making a decision every single time. Are you going to use the sine of the angle? Are you going to use the cos of the angle? Or are you going to use the tan of the angle? Okay, so what you use depends on two things. It depends on what you want to calculate together with what they gave you. Okay, so it's those two things together. All right. So if we look at triangle ABC, our reference or our focus angle is this one that is labeled 40 degrees. All right. If I say to you, we want to calculate the length of AC, what does AC represent in the right angle triangle? Is it opposite our angle? Is it adjacent our angle? Or is it the hypotenuse? What side is AC? AC? It's the hypotenuse, quite right. Okay, AC is the hypotenuse, all right? So they want us to calculate the hypotenuse. Which side did they give us? Did they give us the opposite side or did they give us the adjacent side? What does 25 represent? Is it opposite or is it adjacent? That's it. Quite right, Sam. It's opposite. Good. So Katlejo, if I now want to put this together, I've got opposite and hypotenuse. So which one of the three am I going to use? I have to have O and H. Where do I have O and H? Exactly. Exactly. So I've got to use this one. Does that make more sense, Katlejo? Zayon, and I know there's a couple of other people who had sad faces. Who else? Inklafatso.
Ma'am, please repeat.
No problem. Okay, I know this is I know this is difficult. Okay, got no problem repeating it. Sure, Zayon, not a problem. Okay, so others that are feeling confident, you just carry on. Oh, that's so sweet, Katlejo. You've made my day. I'm so glad. Thank you. And I love cats, so I've got a cat, so that's really cool. Thank you. All right, so let's do this again. All right, so you have to make a choice, grade 10s. You have to choose which trig ratio you are using. Are you working with sine? Are you working with cos? Or are you working with tan? So how you make that choice depends on two things, right? It depends on what they want you to calculate, and it depends on what information is given to you. So together, those two things, what you want to calculate, together with what they gave you, informs your decision. All right. So in this particular question that we've got on the board now, all right, they have given us our reference angle, and they have told us the length of side AB in relation to the 40 degrees. Where is AB situated? Is it adjacent? Is it hypotenuse? Is it opposite?
Opposite.
It's opposite, exactly. There we go, opposite. Okay, it's opposite. When they say to us in the first instance, where they want us, excuse me, to calculate the length of AC, AC represents the hypotenuse, because the hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle. The hypotenuse is always going to be the longest side in the right angle triangle. So they gave us O, they want us to calculate H. So now we have to go and look, where do we have O and H together? Here we have A and H, here we have O and A. So it's here, the one that I've drawn the circle around. That's where we've got O and H together. And that's why we've got to use the sine of the angle. Right, so then we have to make an equation using the sine of the angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. All right, so that's exactly what I'm going to write. So in number 1, I'm going to write the sine of 40 equals opposite. Opposite is 25 units in length. The hypotenuse is the one that I want to calculate, and that is called AC. All right, so it's always like that. Sine of the angle is the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Or if you used cos, the cos of the angle is the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. Or the tan of the angle is the opposite side over the adjacent one. All right, so you are always setting up an equation that has 3 parts. The ratio with the angle, and then the correct side. So in this case, the opposite side at the top and the hypotenuse at the bottom. Okay, so now, Katlejo, I think, I don't know about other people, I think you were a little bit lost when I cross-multiplied, but I just want to know from the people that were feeling so sad, Katlejo's spoken to me, Zayon and Lefatso, I don't know, but David, if you were strong, Ria Bet, Sweat, Sepo, how are you feeling now? Does it make a little bit more sense? No problem. That's okay. Cool, Zayan. All right. So now what's left for me to do, grade 10s, is I've got to calculate the length of AC. All right. So in other words, I've got to make AC the subject of the formula. All right. So sine 40 means sine 40 over 1. So when you want to solve equations and there's a fraction on one side and a fraction on the other side, it actually makes them very easy to work with. We cross multiply. And when we cross multiply, it's like multiplying both sides of our equation with both denominators so that we get rid of the denominator in one step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply AC with sine 40, and I'm going to cross multiply 1 with 25. Let me just move this up. Okay, and now we can carry on writing. Okay, so AC times sine 40 is AC sine 40. Okay, so this means times here. Okay, you know in maths, if I write a dot, it means times. Okay, Nizola, well done. We're going to look at all the answers now. Okay, is equal to 1 times 25 is 25. Okay, but remember, I want AC on its own. So I've got to divide AC times sine 40 by sine 40. And what I do to the left-hand side, I've got to do to the right-hand side of my equation. Okay, and that's why AC, okay, David, cool, well done. Well, we'll see now if hopefully I got the same answer as you. AC is going to be equal to 25 over the sine of 40. What did you get, David, for AC?
94.65.
Say that again, please, David.
94.65.
94.65. Did anybody else get that answer? That's not the answer I got, David.
Ma'am,
I got
Yeah.
ma'am,
See,
I got 38.39 units.
That's what I got too. Me too, Harrison. Okay, so Nozola, I don't know why you got 16.07. Nana, that's the right answer. Phoebe, that's perfect. You just rounded it to 1 decimal place instead of 2. Angela, also perfect, 100%. Okay, so Nozola, I'm not sure what you pressed on your calculator, but it's supposed to be 25 in the numerator and then sine 40 at the bottom. Well done, Maruma. I got the same answer as you. Okay, so this would be 38.89. How do you round off to 2 decimal places? Okay, are you looking at this number on your calculator, Katlego? Can you see 38.89309567? Can you see that on your calculator? I know, Nizol, it happens all the time. You've got to be so careful with what you press. Just try it again and see if you get the right answer. Okay, so Katlego, on your calculator, do you know what the fraction button looks like? So it's a button, it's got a block like that and it's got a block underneath. You're going to press this button on the calculator and then in here, cool, then in here you're going to put 25 and then you're going to navigate down with your arrows. And then here you're going to press the sign button and then a bracket will open. Then you're going to pop in 40 and then you've got to remember to close the bracket. And then you can press equals. See how that worked? Okay, so have you done that? Okay, so on your calculator, you should see 38.89309567. Can you see? Yes, there's a lot of numbers, okay? So now, Katlego, if we want to round to 2 decimal places, you have to look at the number that is in the 3rd place after the decimal. So what number is sitting in the 3rd place after the decimal? What's number sitting there? There's a... I don't know why you're saying 33.55, unless your calculator is also not set on degrees. What do you see in the top? Has it got a D, a G, or an R? Because that could be the reason why you're getting the wrong answer. It has to be set on degrees. Ah, there you go. You said set on radians. That's why. Okay, so what you're going to have to do, so all of you grade 10s, if there's anything other than a D, okay, you've got to press on your calculator, shift. If you've got a Casio, okay, so you press shift 9 3 equals AC. And then that resets your calculator so that there's a D at the top. There cannot be an R. And there cannot be a G. All right, so this gives us 38.89309567. Yes, you're going to have to start all over, Katlego, unfortunately. Right. But anyway, you asked about the rounding off. So I'm just quickly explaining that. So if you're rounding to the second place, you are actually looking at this number over here. Because this is a 3, it's not going to do anything to the 9. So rounded off to 2 decimal places, this will be 38,89, just like that. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you were listening to me. We've still got 15 minutes left. You use tan. Okay, but the problem is, if you use tan, then you wouldn't be able to calculate the length of AC. If you use tan, then you'd be able to calculate the length of BC. Okay, Nzole? All right. Let's have a look at BC now. I don't know if there's some people that have done it and have already got an answer. Anybody got an answer for BC? There we go. There you go. Okay, so what happens next? You just have to round off. You've just got to round off, Katlego. Nana, you've also got an answer, same as Harrison. Okay, Nana, what did you do? Let's have a look here, Angela. How do you round off? Yes, ma'am, Angela. Okay, so Marumo got 29,79. 29,79. Okay, Nana, so both of you have got that answer. All right, so let's go and have a look at what they did over there. I think that they are perfectly correct. Harrison says the same thing. Okay, so everybody that was confused, this is what Nana and Harrison, and I don't know who else's name I haven't mentioned. This is what they did. Okay, so they said, all right, we need BC now. Okay, so side BC is what to the angle? It is adjacent. Okay, so if they've given me the opposite side and I want to calculate the adjacent, where do I see O and A together? I see O and A together over here. Okay, there's O and A. So I have to use the tan of the angle. All right, so Harrison, what did you write for this one? You said?
(25/BC), ma'am.
Okay, so tan 40 equals 25/BC. Excellent. All right, and then you would need to cross multiply again. Okay, so you are cross multiplying. Okay, so BC times tan 40 is BC times tan 40 is equal to 1 times 25 is 25. Divide both sides by tan 40 and BC would be equal to 25 over tan 40, like so. All right, and then you'd have to do the same thing. Pop that into your calculator. Don't forget to close the brackets. And I quite agree with you, Nana and Harrison. I also get an answer of 29,79. Okay, is that feeling a little bit better? How are we feeling? David, feeling a little bit stronger? Right, can we go and... That's a pleasure, Nana. I'm so glad you feel like you've learned a lot today. That's absolutely brilliant. Well, we've got 10 minutes more. You got it, Phoebe. All right, lovely. Did anybody manage to do the questions that were on the other side?
Yes.
Ma'am, can you please shift on a bit on the left?
Just say that again, Sam.
Ma'am, can you please go on the left a bit? Because I cannot see.
Oh,
what
you
they're
can't
on.
see what I've written there. Okay, all right, that's fine. How is that better?
Okay, ma'am, I get.
Okay, that's fine. So you just get that down quickly, and then we're going to go and have a look at the other questions on the other side as well. What I also wanted to show you today was how we could use trigonometry in real life. And that it's not just something that where we're working with, triangles on, a piece of paper, that we can actually apply this to real life as well. So I think what I'm going to do is there isn't going to be time for us to be able to do that. So I'll have to show you that next time. Let's just have a look at, it's a pleasure, Katlego. That's fine. Okay, so if we have a look over here, all right, we've got a couple of minutes to go. I just want us to have a look at this. Okay, so everybody who was feeling lost and confused and a little bit sad and not sure about what was going on, if they want us to calculate the length of yx, now look at what they've given us here, okay, grade 10s. They have given us 34.2 as the angle, and then they have given us side xz. What does side xz represent?
Hypotenuse.
Indeed, Marumo, indeed it is the hypotenuse. So if I want to calculate side yx, what does side yx represent in this triangle? It is the adjacent side. Exactly. So if I've got the hypotenuse and I want to calculate the adjacent side, which trig ratio do I have to use?
Cos.
Cos. Tsepo and Katlego, Riabetswe, does that make a bit more sense to you? So we're using the CAH, SOHCAHTOA, so the CAH bit. Does that make a bit more sense? Okay. All right, I'm glad. Okay, so Tsepo, Riabetswe, what we would be doing here, okay, is in number 1, the cos of 34,2 degrees is equal to adjacent. So adjacent in this case is yx over hypotenuse, which is 17,8. Right. You're still going
around too. Like, can I say 17,8 over yx?
No, you can't. No, Sam, unfortunately you can't, because then you're putting the hypotenuse at the top. Okay, so it's got to be like this. It's got to be the cos of whatever angle you're working with is the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. Always, always, always. Okay, and if you were working with the sine of any angle, it's got to be the opposite side in the numerator and the hypotenuse in the denominator. And if you work with you have to, that you can't change. Okay, the only thing that you can change is what you calculate. So there are 3 variables in this equation, all right? There's the angle, there's O, and there's H. So if we know the angle, sorry,
but then the adjacent is 17,8. Isn't it supposed to be at the top, because how the formula is as in like A over H?
Okay, but unfortunately, Sam, 17,8 isn't adjacent. 17,8 is the it's the hypotenuse. It's the hypotenuse. It's the hypotenuse.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so ZX is the hypotenuse. This 17,8 is the hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle. Okay, so that's why I wrote it in this manner over here. Does that make more sense now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So I know it's really tricky in the beginning, and we can certainly practice this a little bit more the next time. Okay, so now we're going to cross multiply, and that gives us 1 times yx is yx. So it's easier when things are in the numerator than in the denominator. And then on the right-hand side, we're going to go 17,8 multiplied by the cos of 34,2 degrees. And that gives us, what did you get, Harrison?
14,72.
I got the same answer. Okay. 14,72. Okay. All right, what we're going to have to do is I'm unfortunately going to have to go just a couple of minutes earlier today because I've got to give another lesson to the grade 7s after this. So I'm sorry that I have to end off now, but I obviously need to be on time for them. How are you feeling? Are you feeling a little bit more confident than you were? Is it making a bit more sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, Sam. Okay. Angela, yes. Nosisa, yes. So, Phoebe, you asked a question. You said, could you use sine for this too? You can, Phoebe, you can use sine if you've got an angle and you want to calculate the opposite side, if they give you the hypotenuse. Or you could use sine if they gave you the angle and you wanted to calculate the hypotenuse if they gave you the opposite side. Okay, then you could use sine. Okay, so it depends on what you're trying to calculate and what they gave you. Yeah, 14,72 is good. Phoebe, I hope that answers your question. Ria Betswe, you look like you're feeling a bit more confident. Yes, okay, so Zayan, you're going to have to go onto the app and then you can go and practice these questions. All right, cool, David. All right, Phoebe, don't worry. We'll definitely we'll work at this. It's a pleasure, Katlecha. Oh, nice smile, Nana. That's great. Okay. All right, Phoebe, it makes a bit more sense. Okay. I'm now going to have to hand over to Coco.
Coco, ma'am. Hello.
Oh, there we go, Coco.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. I know I'm not Tula today. Tula's having connection problems, so I'm just going to take over from him. But before I take over, I'm going to kick you out, please, Teacher Lee, because you need to run to the grade 7 class.
That's fine. I'm just giving my, I'm sorry, I'm sending the hearts to the wrong person. I was trying to send, okay, well, you will send hearts to all of them for me. Okay. All right, grade 10s, I will see you on Thursday. All right. Enjoy your week. Thanks for everything. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
You are allowed to unmute and say bye, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. I should be host now. Hello, everybody. It's very nice to meet you. I am Coco, for those of you who don't know me. If you ever have a question on the app, I am most likely the person answering all your questions on the other side. So I'm just going to go through what Tula would have gone through with you guys quickly. Okay, which is the homework that you guys have. So this is the lessons that we've gone through that you guys have gone through. Actually, I haven't been there, from the 24th of August. You guys will be joining us again on Thursday, the 2nd of September, to start solving angles in right angle triangles. So you guys, instead of looking for the sides, you'll be looking for the angles in the next lesson that you guys will be going through. Your homework for today, we're going to go to our topic and click on trigonometry, and then we're going to solution of triangles and then find the length of a missing side. All right, and we will look at the leaderboard on Thursday with Tula. Hopefully he'll be back by then. And yeah, that's it from us, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do try these. They do get kind of tricky, like Lee said. So if you have any questions, I'm on the other side of the chat on the app, and I'm able to help you guys as well. All right, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Bye-bye. We will see you all on Thursday. Bye, everyone.